When they would have like, nights where we usually would like, we would all go in on a big ass bottle of liquor, get some bud. We'd be chilling, eating, drinking, smoking, whatever at one of their houses. Stopped doing that. Stopped going, Then they stopped inviting me because I stopped going. So they're like, we're not going to invite her because, she'll never show up anyways.
All right. And that's the first. Shout out to the comment section. I see y'all talking so much. Hey, well, shout out Gary. Hey, man. What's up, Carnell down there, everybody. Very deep interview. Y'all can chime in anytime y'all like. But I like to go to the point of the withdrawal. Because, we all had people who, went through drug problems in our family and things like that. And the first thing they do is the withdrawal. They start like not coming around because they, some don't want to be seen like this. I don't want you to see me until I kind of get myself together.
Facts.
So, did you end up...
plus with that drug, like, you nod, meaning like you fall asleep. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't want to be sitting in my grandma's house and then I'm nodding and next thing you know, like I'm in a full blown nod and on the fucking sofa at my grandma's house, I'm like, no.
How did it, being a mom, being a mother, how did it affect it?
This one day I was in my room doing my makeup, about to go out to a party. And I was high as hell. And I was, doing my makeup. And I was nodding as I'm doing my makeup. Mm-hmm. My oldest daughter, she was like, Mommy, like, why are you going out? You look so sleepy. Mm-hmm. Like, you're falling asleep doing your makeup. You just need to get some rest and go to sleep. She was like, you shouldn't go out. And I was like, I, jumped up and I'm like, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. I'm like, go upstairs real quick. I gotta, put my clothes on or something. Mm-hmm. And when she walked out the room, I sniffed a line of Coke to make myself wake up. And I sat there after I did it and I was like, I looked in the mirror and I was like, where the fuck are you going? Like, you don't even look like yourself no more. Like, your kids know something wrong with you. Like, when is enough enough?
Was that the rock bottom moment or was there a deeper moment that was actual rock bottom?
Way deeper.
Okay. That's just on the way. That's the decline. That's what you...
Yes. This was the very first time.
You're noticing this is not...
Yeah, this is the very first time.
Okay.
So... The second time, my mom, I was in the kitchen and washing dishes, and my mom, she came up in the kitchen behind me, and she was like, where are you going? She was like, you're just disappearing. She's like, your clothes are falling off of you. She was like, you're getting so little. Like, what are you really doing? She was like, what are you really doing, Tiana? She was like, I'm your mom. Like, I'm not stupid. I think I know my kid. Like, what is it that you're doing? And I'm so high. All I can do is be like, I'm all right. Like, I'm okay. I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I just ain't been eating, which I hadn't been eating. Uh-huh. Because, like, with that drug, you don't really have an appetite. You just want sweets, like candy. Okay. And shit like that. Like, so you don't really eat. If you do eat, it's probably after, like, you done been doing something and, you done worked up an appetite or something. Okay. But, yeah, that shit is crazy.
So you're losing weight. Your mama's starting to notice. She getting worried about you.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Worried. And you're trying to mask it. You're trying to hold it down. Take us to rock bottom. Let's,
Okay.
So I know, I want to get to that part because there's people at home that's probably at that point right now and need to see somebody, hear somebody's testimony on how to get out of this. You know what I'm saying? So talk about rock bottom, the lowest moment.
Okay. So the lowest moment was.
You can take your time. Take your time. Got tissues. Take your time.
Okay.
It's hard to let this emotion out. It's hard to cry and drop tears because this is a real testimony. People at home, real testimony.
Okay, so this was after my first failed rehab attempt. I went to rehab for like 3 days. Mm-hmm. And I was telling everybody, like, I'm okay. All I needed was to detox. I'm fine. I don't need, to go back any longer. I'm not doing the drug anymore. I'm okay. The whole time, the ride home from the hospital, I was sniffing heroin after I had just got out of rehab for 3 days. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to, like, fuck it. It is what it is at this point. Okay. I need it. Like, I got to do it. I don't want to go to rehab. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, I can support it. I'm all right. Okay. So, at this point, like, me and Kirk are together. So I'm lying to him like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just sleepy or whatever. I'm working 2 jobs, just to support my habit and, pay my bills and shit. So I found out February 18th of 2020 that I was pregnant. And I was scared to fucking death.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point. Mm-hmm. I got a severe problem. Like, I got a terrible problem. Like, I don't know where to go. Yeah. I don't know if there's any help for me. Like, I don't know nothing at this point. So when I go for my first, OB appointment, the nurses asked me all these questions and stuff. And when she said, have you had any recent drug use? And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay, what were you using? And I tell her, like, okay, I've been sniffing heroin and I've been, sniffing cocaine too, and I've been smoking weed. She was like, okay, well, you have to stop, right? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, I don't know where to go. She was like, well, since you're pregnant, you can't withdraw. Meaning, like, you cannot withdraw because you and your baby will die. You cannot do that. Like, you cannot withdraw. Wow. So she's like, I want to give you the number of this lady named Heather. Shout out to her. Mm-hmm. So she gave me Heather's number. Mm-hmm. I called her. Heather told me about the Lynchburg Comprehensive Treatment Center. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I'm going to go. But I didn't go just yet. I didn't go right off the rip because I'm thinking to myself, okay, what if I go get an abortion and, I just tell, Kirk that I lost the baby, or what if I,
That's how far the drugs have taken you.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So at this point, I'm like, okay, like, I'm not going to keep it. I'm just going to go get an abortion by myself. I'm not going to tell anybody, whatever. And I'm just going to say I lost the baby. So,
choosing the drug over the baby, that's how far it does with your mental.
Exactly. Okay. So I was upstairs in the bathroom, and I came downstairs, and Kirk was sitting on the bed, and he had his hands crossed, and he just looked so disappointed and just defeated. And I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And he opened his hand, and he said, "How long has this been in your coat pocket right there?" And it was like I want to say about a gram of heroin, about a gram.
It's your boyfriend finding it.
Yeah, exactly, finding it in my coat pocket because that's where I would hide it at. I had ripped a perfectly fine coat. I ripped the coat so I could put it in like a false bottom of the coat.
Okay, all right, okay.
It was because all my hiding spots was just like, it was. I didn't have too many hiding spots at that house because it was so many people in the house. Yeah. My kids was there. I couldn't let nobody find this shit. You feel me? So I'm hiding it in my coat. That way I'm thinking it's mine, and I'm gonna be the only one that's gonna be fucking with it. Mm-hmm. So he pulled it out. He head in his hand. He was like, "Look, if you don't go get no fucking help, I'm gonna take your baby. I'm gonna take that baby, and probably get custody of your other kids too. Like, and then I'm gonna leave you. Like, you need to get some fucking help." So that, like, right then and there, I went outside and I Googled rehab facilities, like stay in rehab facilities in Virginia, and I found one in this little place called Galax, Virginia. Okay. A little country ass facility in the mountain. Yeah. And so I go there, or I call. This is a Thursday. I call her. I call them, and she's like, "Well, how soon can you get here?" And I'm like, "Tomorrow." She was like, "Okay, well, we'll see you tomorrow at 2:00. Make sure you're here, pack enough stuff for 7 days, whatever." Because at the comprehensive treatment center, I was going there, but I was still using too. Okay. And so, like, they drug test you there. And every time they drug tested me, at first I was dirty. So they was like, "Look, if you don't get clean, we're going to have to kick you out. But you have to get clean because you're pregnant. Like, what are you going to do?" And I was telling her, like, "I don't think I'm going to keep it." She was like, "You can't do that. Okay. Like, you can't just do that because you want to keep doing drugs. Yeah. Like, it's alternatives. There's ways around it. Like, what do you want to do?" And when my boyfriend found that shit in my coat, and when he said all of that, he was like, "Do you love me or do you love this drug? Like, which one is it? Because I don't know." He was like, "I thought you were okay. I thought you was fine. Like, what happened? Did you relapse? What happened?" So I'm like, I tell him, "Yeah, I relapsed." I was like, because on New Year's, apparently I was getting high because I had been getting high, never stopped. Yeah. So on New Year's, I got out the shower and I went into the kitchen. And apparently I passed out in the kitchen floor. He came in the house from the store, and I'm laying in the kitchen floor. He think I'm fucking dead, but he like, you living, like, you know, you breathing and shit. So he don't know what's going on at this point. So he like, what's up? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, I popped a Xanax, you know, and whatever, which I did pop half of a Xanax bar, but that and the drugs, all the other drugs.
Really heroin really
yes,
got you
it fucked me up. So, like, my body couldn't handle it because, mind you, at this point, I'm 150 pounds.
Oh, man, yeah.
I'm 150 pounds. Like, I'm nowhere near as big as I was when I first started doing this shit. So, I'm little as hell. So, anything is rocking my socks at this point. So, once he said that, we drove up there the next day, and he dropped me off. And I stayed up there for a little while, and I came home. And when I came home, I was fine. I was okay. Because when I was there, I accepted the fact that I kept calling myself a functioning addict.
Okay.
So everybody was like, bitch, what's a functioning addict? Like, what? Come on, explain that.
Yeah.
They're like, no, ain't no such thing as a functioning addict. Bitch, you an addict. You a junkie. Like, we all junkies up in here. Like, accept the fact.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, you know what? I accept it. But that very first night in rehab was really the lowest moment in my life because I was pregnant. I was by myself, and I was to blame as to why I was there. I was my own fault as to why I got myself in that situation. That was my own fault.
I'm sure everything hit you.
Yeah, like, it really fucked me up. I'm like, you don't even know what you having yet, and you can't stop putting this shit up your fucking nose because you're thinking that you can kill it and get away with it. Like, girl, they will fucking stone you. Yeah. They will know that you went and killed that baby so you can keep getting fucking high. Like, ain't nobody stupid. Yeah. Like, nobody dumb. And it really just set in on me because I was in rehab and I was pregnant. And I was by myself. In that room by myself. I cried so much. Because...
And you think about your mama too. And
yeah.
I know you like you
think about my mom, think about my kids. I'm like, I know my mom's like, what the fuck? Like, I did not raise you to do any of this. Like, I gave you everything you've ever asked for. Like, why? Why would you do this to yourself? Like, because this is a battle that I'm going to fight for the rest of my life. I'm not going to never be okay. I'm going to always be a recovering addict. I'm always going to be an addict, and nobody knows that.
Lifetime battle, that's what people say. It's a full lifetime battle.
It's a full-time battle. It's a full lifetime battle. Like, every day is a new day. And I thank the universe for that.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard. I'm going to keep it 100. It's hard. Like, sometimes you want to say, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know, go get fucked up for a little while.
Especially, you go through bad days or you get pissed off about shit.
Exactly. Like, and it really, like, last weekend, I wrecked a vehicle. And it was just from me smoking weed and being tired.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, you can't do that. Like, you imagine if you was to fuck with that shit. Like, you would die. Like, you would legit die because your tolerance is low as hell. Like, you ain't been doing nothing. Like, I've been clean for almost 10 months. Like,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, this shit is amazing. Like, this shit is groundbreaking. Like, it was days back then when I was strung out that I would pray for days like this. Like, where I didn't want it. Like, I didn't need a drug to get up and go do nothing. Like, I didn't need anything, like, you know, to you know, make my life go.
And 10 months clean, that deserves a round of applause. Let me stop for one. So let's talk about the strength of, you know, we have stories where we see the woman being the backbone for the man and helping him out. Talk about your boyfriend, how he was there to help you, to give you that strength, because, you know, a lot of men would have bailed out with their girlfriend. Definitely.
I always say he saved my life because he did. Like, he ain't never give up on me.
That's special. That's special. When somebody can see you at your worst time and moments and still love you, that's real love. And shout out to Kirk, man, because that's real love right there. You don't got that in this day and age. You rarely see that. You know, you get to your bottom, a lot of people will leave you at your bottom. So he stuck through that, and he stuck through the rehab and everything at all. Yes. He through everything.
Yes, well, he definitely let me know, like, girl, if you fuck up and lose everything you got, like, you deserve it. Like, if you fuck up, you deserve to lose everything you have. Which is, it's the honest truth. Like, it's the God's honest truth. When I was in rehab and people, like, we were talking, we'd be in our groups and shit, we'd be talking, the counselors, they would be like, so, how's your home life? When you leave here, are you going to go back to a place where you're going to have triggers? Or are you going to go back to a place where, you know, it's a bad environment for you? I said, listen, I'm like, I'm the problem in my family. I'm like, you know, everybody else got their shit together. Everybody, you know, doing fine. Like, my mom is great. My boyfriend is great. Like, my kids are amazing. Like, I couldn't ask for a better family. It's me who caused the problems and shit. I'm like, and